return water fluoridation to their city. For 42 cents a year, for 42 cents per person per year, that's what you pay for the water fluoridation. You're helping people to avoid $32 in dental treatment costs every single year. It's $32 in their pocket that you come spend in the city instead of going and paying us as a dentist to treat them, which is non-taxable. I did also talk to Mr. Lee of two quick things. Department of Defense, which I know I have some folks here tonight, we spoke about American Patriots. Department of Defense has mandated that fluoridation be on all bases around the world that have over 3,300 people, 3,300 troops in them, because troops are not deployable. Half of all Army troops are not, people coming in are not deployable because of bad teeth. And they know that fluoridation helps that, along with the American Academy of Pediatrics and a slew of other groups around the world. I don't mean to speak over time at all.
Yeah, that's you got 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you're going to vote on it tonight, please hold a shop first. One quickie, free money. Mr. Lee says there's some equipment that needs to be replaced, repaired. Florida Department of Health has free money for you to do that. I brought the forms for you to get in.
You can give that to Mr. Sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Walden.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Kerry Walden, Administrator for the Department of Health here in Suwannee County, and appreciate the opportunity to speak before you. I do want to just remind what Dr. Johnson has just mentioned. The Florida Department of Health, through their dental health program, we do have a program that will help cities that either want to get into the fluoridation business or that want to continue in the fluoridation business. And I've just learned as of yesterday the concern about aging equipment and the need to replace equipment. We'd like to help you. We don't administer that program locally, but through the state agency. There are contacts. We have folks that we reach out to. I've already made contacts and inquiries. This afternoon I emailed Mr. Lee the documents. Are pretty easy and simple to fill out. We need to go ahead and get the city's name up there so that when the new funding cycle comes up next fiscal year, we'll be first in line for them to review our application and to keep upgrade the equipment and also to help with if you need to purchase fluoride and so forth. But there's a great need. We at the health department do have a dental program. We've been looking for a dentist for almost a year and a half now. It's very hard to keep people, the dentist here. We've been lucky and fortunate to work with our neighboring cities that do have a dentist. But the number of kids we see that have decay is significantly high. It's very concerning when folks come in because they aren't getting adequate dental care. And having fluoridation in the water is a key component to us helping reduce that gap. Anything that we can do to help prevent dental decay, we want to do that, and we're here to help you with that opportunity. And I've sent Mr. Lee the documents and Mr. Sessions. Can't remember if I copied you on the email, but if not, I'll forward that to you as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
One question to my president concerning what these two gentlemen have presented, and even Mr. Sessions, will we be prepared to vote tonight, or we need to our next meeting?
That's on the agenda, so it could be brought up to vote. But
my thought is, well, I think we need to be more educated at this point. This came up, and I Googled it, okay? So I'm going to read you 2 things I Googled. They're exactly opposite. So I'll just read it to you. So I think maybe a workshop would be in tune for us. So the first one, I just Googled it. It says fluoride benefits children and adults throughout their lives. For children younger than the age 8, fluoride helps strengthen the adult permanent teeth which are developing under the gums. For adults, drinking water with fluoride supports tooth enamel, keeping teeth strong and healthy. Right below it, the same piece of paper says, by competing with magnesium and calcium in teeth and bones, fluoride deranges delicate bone formation and bone resorption processes. Such derangements and consequent intensity of fluoride's adverse effects on bone and teeth are amplified in malnutrition, calcium deficiency, and magnesium deficiency. So I think we need to learn more. I mean, I know talking to JL, you know, it's also a cost factor for us here in the city. And it could be the fact of the aging equipment and things like that too. So before we jump out here and vote on something without a complete panel up here too to vote, I think at this point, we should have some more information and get everybody here to make a solid vote. So I can't make a motion, but I would say we probably should look at it in the future and learn more about it. Because I've seen pluses and minuses. I've lived in fluoridated places on bases all over the world, but for the last 25 years, I've had my own well without fluoridation, and my daughters did well growing up without it. So, you know, I'm sure it's not the Crest toothpaste they've been brushing their teeth with. It's kept their teeth that good. I don't know, maybe it's genetics, but.
We would certainly welcome the opportunity to workshop with you and bring in additional experts. I did talk with Dr. Ockland today. He could not be here. He's highly supportive of the continuation of fluoridation. But if we have some money that we can help you with your aging equipment, let's explore that.
I make a motion that we table this until the next, meeting.
You okay, Jim?
Table it.
I don't want
Okay, we have a motion.
We have a motion.
Table.
I don't want a second as of yet. Can we bring this to a workshop?
That's basically
That's
what
what we're gonna do.
Okay, well, you said table and workshop.
Oh, we've got a table with the item.
Okay, all right then. Then we'll make a motion to table.
Right.
Do we need to make a motion to bring it to a workshop?
We got
And then you gotta-
Table it first, and then go from there.
There you go, thank you, that's what I got.
Okay, I'll second to table it.
I'll make,
Okay, we have a motion already in a second.
okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries to table it. Okay, let's discuss, do you want us to try to discuss a time?
We're have to figure out a schedule, and
Okay,
then we can't do it tonight.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
we'll have discussions on
Okay.
that.
So Mr. Sessions is gonna get back with us so we can go together and then
And then he'll give us.
set up the time to inform the public and everybody, and come up with an educated decision there.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was 6A. 6B, Mr. Sessions.
All right, resolution.
Yes. I'm sorry, yeah, this is the resolution 202334.
The attorney has City Council Resolution Number 2023-34, by title, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, extending the local state of emergency for the City of Live Oak pursuant to Section 252.38, Paren 2 Florida statutes due to the threat of Hurricane Idalia, providing for waiver of procedures and formalities, delegating authority, and providing an effective date. And instead of trying to call a special meeting last night and then come tonight, a review of the resolution will show that it will be retroactive to yesterday. So if you vote to approve, that's what you're doing.
Okay, you've heard the recommendations of staff for the resolution.
Make a motion that resolution, that we approve resolution 2023-34.
Okay, we have
Second.
a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the
Go ahead.
motion carries.
I would like one comment. Until all the debris is cleaned up, we're going to continue this emergency declaration. Because if we decide not to, and then there's funding after we decide not to, we'll lose it. So we're going to continue as long as the debris is out here being cleaned up. We're going to have a weekly meeting to continue this. And I know it gets old, but we have to do it.
Monday night football, huh?
You do Monday mornings at 8:30?
Monday mornings be better. I don't care, Monday mornings be better, and Mondays at 5:30,
Well, you got to have enough for a move.
Yeah, well,
People,
AM?
huh?
Just gonna let me know.
yeah, we come early and we
You
go
do
to work.
Monday morning,
You do 7
8
o'clock.
AM, 8:30
Can you do
AM?
7 o'clock, man?
I can do it early.
Do it early with them.
What was it?
Get up early, come on, John.
I gotta eat. All right, so David, do not interflict with your work schedule.
I'm good. I mean, for that, it's fine. Just let me,
We know
as long as you let me know, I'm good.
All right, somebody just informed Matt and T. It'll be all right with me.
I'll check with the other two
8
councils.
o'clock.
Check with them.
Okay, 8 o'clock.
I just want to see if you're up for that.
Yes,
That's fine.
instead of the afternoon,
Do it first thing in the morning.
first thing in the morning.
Okay.
David, you all right with 8 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, next item is 6C.
City Council Resolution Number 2023-33 by title, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida as sub-grantee to enter into a disaster relief funding agreement with the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management as grantee, identified as contract number NBWPGJSFYWP6, that is not a VIN number, agreement number Z3976, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, for the recognition of staff, the resolution 2023-33, what's the wishes of the board?
Make a motion that we accept resolution 2023-33.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the motion carries. Okay, 6D.
I will read it by title only, and then we will need to open up a public hearing for comment, and then we can close it and then vote. So by title only, ordinance number 1501, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, implementing the state statutory mandate to prepare business impact estimates prior to the adoption of proposed ordinances pursuant to section 166.041(4) Florida statutes, providing findings, adopting business impact estimate procedures, requirements, and exemptions, providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date. This would be the second reading. It was approved at the last meeting on the first reading. So we need to open up the public hearing to see if there's any comment by the public before we vote.
Okay, hearing the ordinance 1501, this is the second reading. Is there anybody from the community who would like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close public hearing, and we need a vote or a motion for the ordinance 1501, second reading.
Make a motion that we, for the second reading of ordinance number 1501, be considered approved.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And the motion carries.
Then we have
6D.
final reading, ordinance number 1502, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 50 or fewer acres of land, small scale, on the future land use plan map of the City of Live Oak, comprehensive plan pursuant to an application CPA 23-04 by the property owners and/or their authorized designated representatives under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from residential high density to industrial on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and providing an effective date. And open the public hearing since it's the final reading.
Yes, sir. If this is the final reading of ordinance 1502, is there anybody from the public that would like to weigh in on this ordinance? Seeing none, we will close the public comment. And what is
Mr.
the
President, I offer motion that we pass ordinance number 1502 and final reading.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
and we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And ordinance 1502 passes. Okay, 6F, also an ordinance.
It'll be for final reading, ordinance number 1503, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 1.48 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 23-05 by the property owners and/or their authorized designated representatives under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential multifamily to RMF2 to industrial I on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and providing for an effective date.
You've heard ordinance 1503. Is there, we're going to open up for public comment. This is the final reading of this ordinance. Seeing none, I will close.
Motion that the reading of ordinance 1503 be.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And ordinance 1503 passes. Okay, item 6G.
This will be the first reading of ordinance number 1504. It's an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 2 acres more or less, small scale, on the future land use plan map of the City of Live Oak Comprehensive Plan pursuant to an application CPA 23-05 by the property owners and/or their authorized designated representatives under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from residential moderate density to commercial on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and providing.
Okay, you've heard ordinance 1504. So the first reading of this ordinance. At this time, we'll open up to public comment on this ordinance. Seeing none, I will close it. What's the wishes of the board, council? Yes, sir. Well,
Before can we hear from Mr. Curtis on this one? So before we I just want some clarity. Mr. Curtis.
Thank you, George Curtis, Development Manager for the City of Live Oak. This is a request, this item and the next item that follows it are proposed land use and zoning changes to a 2-acre parcel on Pinewood Drive Southwest, close to State Route 51, in proximity to the Winn-Dixie grocery store that would be at catty corner across the street. This is a much larger vacant property, and the proposal is to change the zoning to support a retail store on the 2 acres that would front Pinewood Drive Southwest. And this did go before the Planning and Zoning Board at a meeting October 16th, and the recommendation by the Planning Board unanimously was to recommend approval for this request.
Mr. Curtis, one question.
Sure.
Now, rezoning that piece of property, how would that affect any other vacant lots adjacent to this particular property that would keep it, that would make it commercial as well?
We don't know if the request is specific to the legal description that was submitted, so it would be just on that 2 acres. If additional commercial development was proposed on any other portion of that property, then it would be a similar request to come before the council based on the size or area of the property that was in question.
So there's someone already looking to build something on that particular property.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I just wanted to. So is it-
There is some supporting documentation in the packet from the applicant with a letter of intent
Right.
that describes in more detail. I can read it into the record if you like. You do?
We're good.
You're
I'm good.
Okay.
We discussed with the company to build off Pinewood Way versus 51 due to safety hazards. You know how people drive down 51 and the DOT was not going to go for a turning lane. We told them if they would come in off of that road, it'd be a lot better for everybody and it'd be a lot safer.
okay, we've heard the recommendations of staff. What's the wishes of the council?
The recent reading of ordinance 1504.
So we have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And ordinance 1504 passes. This actually goes in as part of it too, right? Item 6H. This is the first reading.
Ordinance number 1505, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 2 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 23-06 by the property owner and/or their authorized designated representatives under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning from residential single-family 2 RSF2 to commercial general CG on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and providing an effective date.
Okay, this is the first reading of ordinance 1505. Being so, is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, we will close public comment. These are the wishes of the council.
Motion for reading of ordinance 1505.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Okay, this is 6I, also the first reading of ordinance.
Ordinance number 1506, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 5.39 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 23-04 by the property owner and/or their authorized designated representatives under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from commercial intensive county CICY to commercial intensive city CI on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and providing an effective date.
Okay, the first reading of ordinance 1506. At this time, we'll open up for public comment. Seeing none, we will close the public comment. And what is the wishes of council?
For motion that the first reading of ordinance 1506 be approved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Sessions?
We discussed about affordable housing earlier. We've in the last couple of weeks spoken with 3 different entities, and there's a good possibility in the next 2 years we'll have about